There's no such thing as sight reading. And if you want to retain new information, review it again on the same day without going to sleep first. So you're going over it twice. The first time is the time it's presented to you, either in a class or in a lesson or in your independent study. But then, on the same day, without going to sleep first. You go to sleep first, it jacks it up. And within 24 hours, go over it again. You don't even necessarily have to practice it. You just go over it in your head for a few minutes. Skim your notes. And it doesn't just work in music. I actually learned this in academics when I was a freshman at University of North Texas. Back then it was called North Texas State University. I went to freshman orientation in 1987, and they had the freshman dean, come in, and he spoke to us, and he said, "Hey, you want to make your grades better? Review your notes the same day before you go to sleep every day. Just go over your notes before you go to bed." He said that there were studies that showed that if you reviewed new material, new information, within 24 hours, without going to sleep first, that you would retain more than 90% of the information. But if you waited longer than 24 hours or took a nap before you reviewed the information, you'd retain less than 10%. Well, I was young and stupid and thought beer was food, and so I sort of blew that off until I went to buy books. Oh my God, those books, it was like $100 for a history book. I was taking 21 hours of classes that semester. I spent $1,500 on books. I said, how am I supposed to buy a six-pack of food? But the guy at the bookstore, he said, "Don't worry. You can sell these back at the end of the semester and use that money to buy next year's books." I said, "Okay, that'll work." But then when I took them back at the end of the semester, right, they wanted to give me like $2, $3 for each book. I had $1,500 worth of books. They wanted to give me $20 for the lot. I said, "No way, I'm just going to keep these. I'll use it a fire log before I sell it back to you guys for this." But then I didn't have any money for books. So I thought, hey, that dean guy looked pretty smart. I'll try that thing he said. And so I started going to all my classes, which I was already going to all my classes. But I took good notes. I went to every class, and every night before I went to sleep, I spent 5 minutes, 10 minutes skimming over the notes for the day. And you know what happened? My grades went up. In fact, from that point forward, even though I didn't have any books, I was on the dean's list for the rest of the time I was at the school. Now, I'm not advocating that you don't buy books. I was doing that because I was poor. I'm advocating that you review new information on the same day without going to sleep first. I've used this technique with all my students. It worked for me. It works for them. I suspect it'll probably work for you too. My name's Mark Dooley. I've been a private music teacher for 36 years, focused on practical theory and music literacy. If you want to hear more, follow me. If you'd like lessons, contact me. If you can learn how to read words, you can learn how to read music.